Hello, and today we're doing our first Euro 2020 video of the summer. And in today's video, we will be predicting the UEFA Euro 2020 top scorers and top assisters. So who do I think is getting that Euro 2020 Golden Boot, and who's going to get the Playmaker Award, who's getting the most assists, and all that lovely stuff. So I will be revealing my predictions for the tournament's best player of the tournament, which includes that goals and assists, young player of the tournament. That'll all be coming on the 27th of April, May I should say. We've jumped back a month. But today we are doing the top scorers and top assisters. So make sure you smash a like on the video, comment down your thoughts on Euro 2020, which is coming up soon, and I'll try and get some more content out for that. So it's going to be an exciting period. Yeah, do give us a like on the video, and we'll get into the video now. So let's first of all say for these Euros that we have actually had some teams released, and those teams are minimal, but we've had the squad released for Scotland, we've had the squad released for France, and we've also had a few provisional teams released for the likes of Turkey, for the likes of Hungary. So that's interesting, but there's obviously still a lot of squads to come. Another provisional team has been released for Belgium, so we'll see what happens there. But the point is, today we're doing top scorers. So let's first of all do most goals in my prediction. The contenders are the following. Antoine Griezmann, he is of course the current award holder after he got it in Euro 2016. Playing for France, Antoine Griezmann, hotline bling, he's going to be whipping out that celebration a lot. So he's maybe got a new celebration, that would be nice, but at the end of the day, he is a very good player, playing at the top of his game. The man from Barcelona, he usually does do better for his national side, but I think this is definitely an opportunity for him to do well in that group of death. The current holder got 3 goals in qualifying. So, you know, Griezmann, he's one of the biggest names and one of the big favourites to win this summer's Golden Boot. So the Barcelona forward picked up the 2016 award. He got the highest goal tally for 32 years with 6 goals, enough to win, and followed that up by finishing as the joint second top scorer at 2018's World Cup. So yeah, he's certainly a decent contender for this very interesting Golden Boot. Next up, we have Robert Lewandowski. Now, this is an interesting one. What a season he's had at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich getting their 9th title. What a season it was. But in terms of for his national side, he just struggles to consistently do it on a really good basis for Poland. And Poland have been decent in tournaments, but he's not been scoring enough goals. So he needs to convert that form, that really hot form in the Bundesliga, into his national games. And yeah, in terms of strikers right now in the world, there's not many players better and on better form right now than Lewandowski. But it's hard to compare sometimes the Bundesliga to the Premier League. They work very differently. But you've got to say he's a fantastic player. He can score goals any type, and he scores in hatfuls, so many hat tricks. He is so in form this season, and he's certainly a really good player. What a beast, just like so good. And he's going to be massive for Poland. If he can, get them firing, they could have a decent tournament. He got 6 goals in qualifying, so that'll be an interesting one. But out of all the players at this summer's Euro 2020, only Ronaldo has scored more international goals than Robert Lewandowski. Now, he's been on fire, we mentioned, for Bayern Munich. He's been absolutely outrageous for that German team. He's been outscoring every single player in Europe's top 5 leagues in the year of 2020, and he sits at the top of the scoring charts in the Bundesliga right now. And Poland, they could just go far if he keeps that up this summer, but it's about that consistency with Lewandowski. Next, Kylian Mbappe, very good contender. You got to say he could kill it. No, but Kylian is absolutely the future of football, and he saw really good form in Euro 2016 for the France forward line. Giroud, Griezmann. Now they've got Mbappe to add to that, and they did, of course, have a very good tournament in 2018 for that World Cup. That was where Mbappe kind of announced himself, was fantastic, and now he's got a Euros to try and do that. It was, of course, pushed back a year, but that won't mean Mbappe will have a terrible season. Certainly, this is a good opportunity for the wonder kid. Very, very wicked talent, and you've got to just give him all the credit. He's been firing goals in for PSG, and yeah, you can say, all right, Ligue 1 is different to other leagues, and there's a lot weaker defences in League 1, but he's still getting those goals consistently, whether it's, defences that work in a different style to another league. So, got to give him all the credit, and he got 3 goals in qualifying, so the only thing that's holding Griezmann back from perhaps definitely storming that top scorer is perhaps his strike partner, Kylian Mbappe. He's got to share the chances for France that they create with another really deadly goal machine. Mbappe did of course score just as many qualifying goals as his teammate Griezmann, but also in a half as many matches. So Griezmann is good, but Mbappe's doing it really well in fewer games. And he's also outshone Griezmann really, really, impressively by when Barcelona met PSG in that Champions League match. Mbappe is just a player for the big occasion, a big stage. He often does score against the big teams. And he's had his fair few goals against, the English clubs. So those players playing for English clubs will know just how much of a threat he can be. So he's got to be a strong contender. Romelu Lukaku is the next one. Big Rom, what a beast. He's been a fantastic player for Inter Milan this season. Really, really key in their title win. And ultimately, he's another player who could boss it this summer. He's just a powerhouse. He's got so much strength, so much ability. And at the end of the day, he is the spearhead of that Belgium attack. 7 goals in qualifying for Romelu Lukaku. And if the qualifiers are anything to go by, this guy is a really strong contender to win this, massive, award, to win the top gong, as they should say. His 7 goals came in just 5 games, so that is really impressive form and goals, in terms of time to ratio. And he averaged a strike every 58 minutes, which is pretty hard to stop at this point. So while his teammates, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, they are also very, very good, and they're the top assisters. So you'd imagine that will be perfect for Lukaku to get goals of his own and have those chances created for him that he is usually very good at putting away. So he's got to be a contender. Harry Kane is the next one. Of course, playing for England, they're going to be relying so heavily on him to try and get through the group stage, but it's one of those things. Kane this season has just upped his game. He's added assists to his game. He's scored goals. He's looking like he might get the Golden Boot if he can shake off some competition from Mo Salah. So it's been amazing for Harry Kane, and he wants to end it with a bang. He, of course, got the Golden Boot, if I'm right in thinking, at those 2018 World Cup games. And, his Golden Boot for my World Cup Golden Boot is lonely. Oh, I see. Yeah, he got the Golden Boot for the World Cup, so now he wants it for the Euros. I was trying to work that out there. But anyway, that's not what he said. That's just what I'm thinking he would say. But yeah, he is a bit of a king of qualifiers. He does often score goals, and 12 was amazing in those stages. So he scored more goals than anyone at Wembley, and we of course know the semi-finals and final will be hosted at Wembley. So it might not be coming home if England can't win the Euro 2020, but it's coming home in that aspect. Football is coming home. And he'll be buzzing to play there this summer because, of course, at Tottenham, spending some time at Wembley when they were constructing the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it will give him that kind of attachment and sense of, actually, yeah, I've got used to this now. I can just strut my stuff, score some goals, and give my players and my team some important moments. So yeah, he'll be buzzing to play, you'd imagine, and at the end of the day, he could write his name into the history books, and he would do that by winning the World Cup and the Euros Golden Boots in back-to-back European competitions. That would be amazing for him to do that in both tournaments. but it is a tough ask. He has got a group where, you know, there's some defenses he could really get at. Croatia is going to be a tough one, but when you get out of those, you know, group games, you're going to have some really tough opponents. So it's about breaking down those difficult defenses. But if he can score a hatful against, you know, Czech Republic or Scotland, then he's kind of done the work that he needs to do, and he doesn't need to rely on goals against, you know, better teams later on. So it really is a great chance for some history to be made by Harry Kane. And this season, his form has just been absolutely jaw-dropping, so good. And that could suggest it might happen this year. Then Cristiano Ronaldo, the record breaker, great contender for the Golden Boot. What a season he has been having with Juventus. And yeah, all right, Juventus haven't been good enough to win the title, but he just pops up with goals, and for this Portugal team, he is so important. Portugal put in those balls, and he just lovely execution, basically, of them. And Portugal right now, we've got so much youth and talent, so when Ronaldo does go, we've got someone to step into his shoes. But right now, he's not showing any signs of stopping. He wants a few more years, and this is going to be a great season for Ronaldo, because he can become the outright top scorer in these kind of Euro competitions. So he has been amazing, and amazing in qualifying once again. Not 100, sorry. That would be amazing. No, 11 goals in qualifying. But he's just broken so many records, and he just has to be the GOAT. There's no debating it. CR7 is just so good, and you know, the Euros can often be where he shines, but one thing he's never done is win that Golden Boot for the Euros. So the closest he came was 2012 for Portugal, when he was level with 5 other players as the top scorer, but he actually missed it out because Fernando Torres was the one that actually got an assist and had better minutes, so he won the Golden Boot there. So ultimately, he had a better minutes per goal ratio to CR7. And yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating one for him. So he'll be desperate to rectify those mistakes and ultimately have a very good campaign for Portugal to, you know, there's a chance of it, retain their Euro champion crown. And it would be really nice for Portugal, who, you know, do go unnoticed. But they've got a very good squad, very strong team. And now they've been added to that with the likes of Bruno Fernandes. You know, you just think of the range of capabilities this squad can do. And he's going to be at the heart of that, of course, Bruno Fernandes. But let's hope he puts it on a plate for the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. So he is a very strong contender. And he'll still be desperate to get his hands on one of the very few honours that he's received and still hasn't won, where he's pretty much won everything else. Other contenders for this top scorer, there's some dark horses in there, but maybe some more unlikely contenders. Gareth Bale, you know, he's still very much a threat for that Wales team. The problem is, though, I just feel like he's just having to do it all on his own. And, you know, it's not going to be easy for Wales to get out of their group. You'd have fancied them maybe over Switzerland, but it's quite tough in that group. Italy will definitely be the dominant ones, you'd imagine. So therefore, Bale is going to be so, you know, key for Wales. And if he doesn't deliver, they could be in trouble. So there's that problem with Wales, that their star man is, you know, too much of their, you know, points realistically to get one. So if he can't do it, and, you know, he can't carry them through those games, it will be a difficulty to see him getting that Golden Boot. So yeah, tough one for Gareth Bale. Raheem Sterling, maybe an outsider's choice, but he's not exactly been amazing at times this season. He's had really big areas of problems and goal droughts, and he's been on a long goal drought actually in the last couple of months. So he won't want to really have that going into this Euros, but he knows he's still got quality, and he has got the ability to produce those big goals in the key moments. So I think Sterling has still got a decent chance. 8 goals was what he scored in qualifying. We've then got Memphis Depay. Again, it's a similar thing to Wales here, because when you look at Netherlands' team, you think, okay, lots of creative players, but have they got many goal scorers to help other goal scorers, you know, thrive at the top of their level? And that's a bit of a problem for Memphis Depay. He's going to have to do a lot of the work himself. And at the end of the day, he's not proven in these tournaments. He's had a few decent international, weekends and friendlies and so on, but Netherlands really have been struggling to get to the top, and they had a fairly decent Nations League campaign where they got to the final. Of course, they were beaten by Portugal, so it is one of those things where they have to just go for it in this group, and certainly a favourable group for Netherlands. But Memphis Depay, I'm just not sure he's got the confidence right now to have a serious challenge of the Golden Boot, but at least he scored 6 goals in qualifying. Marko Arnautovic is the next one. And again, with him, I feel like it's just about the consistency. He's playing for an Austria team that are going to try really hard. He has been their talisman, Marko Arnautovic, but I just worry about the delivery that he'll get. Is that going to provide him with enough goals? He might pop up with a few moments of quality every time, once in a while, but it's not going to be consistent enough. And the final contender we've got is Alvaro Morata. Now, you can say, oh yeah, Serge Gnabry can get the Golden Boot. You can say, oh yeah, Timo Werner can get the Golden Boot. But I just don't feel it. I feel like even teams like Germany and Italy, who are going to have strong tournaments, you'd imagine, you just don't feel like there's enough there for the final product. But with Alvaro Morata, I think he's certainly got the players that can give him the delivery. Yes, Morata has had a few moments where he, will look back on and think he should have scored more goals, but I still think he's got a squad around him, so many creative players, and that Spain team is going to really be determined to, right the wrongs of previous tournaments. They won, of course, Euros in 2012, but I'm pretty sure that they've been poor in most of those tournaments since then. So Morata's going to be a key player, and he's got a very big point to prove. So moving on, Serge Gnabry, the reason I think he's still an outside contender is because on his day, he can score bursts of goals, and if he does a few of those games, then that might just be enough to get him high up the tally and high up the, scorers leaderboard. So he will be a kind of off and on player, Serge Gnabry, but when he's on, he is absolutely on flames. And Germany will do all they can to provide him with the moments. Just Timo Werner hasn't got that, relentless nature to his game. He does get unlucky at times and is just missing that key moment at times this season. There's no doubting his pace, no doubting his talent, but just not quite the final product this season, as we've seen many times with Chelsea this season. So that is my contenders. But who do I think is going to be, in the end, the winner of the Euro 2020 Golden Boot? I'm giving this one to Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, you can say what you like. Oh, yeah, you're a Portugal fan. You're going to just give it to Ronaldo because, of course, you want Ronaldo to get the most goals. But in a genuine, proper, version of what I think will happen, I feel like Portugal could go far. When you look at their squad, they have got such strong players to back up injuries and to back up, some absentees like perhaps Diogo Jota, perhaps Daniel Podence and Neto. But they've still got a very strong unit in that team. And Ronaldo is just so lethal at the minute. So I just feel like his national record, his international, presence is just going to be too much for these teams. The likes of Hungary will struggle to keep Ronaldo quiet. And I think that France and Germany, it's a tough group, but Ronaldo can do it in the big games. And I feel like this is the kind of tournament he wants to bow out with a big tournament. And I think this is his time. He just will be involved in it. But if it's not Cristiano Ronaldo, if it's someone else, then perhaps Antoine Griezmann is your man, or perhaps Harry Kane. But I just feel like maybe Griezmann is a stronger contender because France were going to really, go for it in every game, score lots of goals, where the England games might be a bit more tight. So, therefore, I'm backing Cristiano Ronaldo. But who are we going to say for the top assisters? Apologies for the frozen screen again. We can't do a lot about that. But for the top assisters, I'm predicting the following. Who is going to get the most assists over the course of the group stage? And, of course, after that in the knockout rounds? Well, for me, there's one man and just one man only for this award. And you might say, oh, it's too typical, it's too boring. But I think it will be effective. Kevin De Bruyne. Now, in previous Euros, a lot of people have gone with who is going to be getting the most assists and therefore who is the best player. That's sometimes how it kind of works for some people. And, you know, that's not always the case, you've got to say, so you've got to be careful with that. But in this occasion, I think the best player, technically and in a footballing, you know, aspect, is Kevin De Bruyne. He has absolute magic in those boots, and he just sees a situation before it happens. He's got such good delivery, and, you know, Belgium have got so many good headers of the ball. So that's the perfect opportunity for De Bruyne to get lots and lots of assists. I know that he's had injury problems this season, and, you know, he's been unfortunate to not be able to play many of the games to end the Premier League season, but you'd imagine he'll be back for the start of the Euros. So I think he's going to get the most assists this season. You know, if you look at other teams and other players that could be contenders, you know, there's so many creative players in this Euro 2020. You know, in Spain, you've got the likes of Ferran Torres and Jose Gaya, David Alaba. They get so many assists. And, of course, Saul Niguez. And let's not forget the likes of, you know, France and Germany. Germany have got so many midfield maestros. We're back. You love to see it. That just do unlock that defence. Toni Kroos, still very much at the top of his game. Still got a great, you know, corner and a great delivery on him. And let's not forget about the likes of, you know, Netherlands. They're going to be a bit under the, you know, radar a little bit. So if you look at people like Klaassen, he is class and he's got great delivery on him. And other players, you know, in that Netherlands team, Wijnaldum, he can whip in a good ball. You got De Jong in midfield. So many contenders. But I'm going with De Bruyne just because I think that Belgium should have a good tournament. You know, they always say with Belgium it's the golden generation, but they never quite deliver, and they don't use that golden generation to their, you know, advantage at times. They haven't quite got that tournament experience, and they haven't gone far enough really for a team of their quality. They did, of course, go to the semi-final at least of the World Cup, but then the Euros, you know, they really should have gone further, and they were knocked out at the end of the day by Wales. So I do feel like Belgium are going to have a good tournament, so therefore Kevin De Bruyne is my top assister. That wraps up this video for my predictions on the Euro 2020 top scorers and top assisters. Put your comments in the down below, and you know, who are you going to give the awards to? Who will it be in the summer? Of course, injuries are dependent on these picks, but let's hope these players are fit, firing and ready to go to do their best to win these awards. But thanks for watching, smash a like on it, share with your mates, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.